This is Marketing of Today. I'm Cesar. Let's go. Welcome to the Marketing of Today. Dr. Real Estate. Is that your Instagram username?
That is my Instagram username, brand name / everything in my career.
Yes, it was a pleasure meeting you. You came because you saw one podcast that I did with Maylin. It's out. If you guys haven't watched it, go to the YouTube and watch it today.
Great one. I saw it. It was good.
Yeah, you like that?
It was great.
And it was funny because Maylin and I didn't know too much of each other. We just seen each other in a couple of networking events. But back and forth, it was a good conversation. And I like that, she kept up and it was cool. It was a good dialogue. And nice. I'm glad that you liked it.
That was awesome.
Awesome. So your full name is Dr. Peter C Tlatelpa.
Oh, close. You almost had it. Tlatelpa.
Sorry. It's a unique last name. Tell me more about it.
Yeah, so it's an indigenous Nawi last name. Nawa, I don't know how to say the culturists out there will probably rip me apart for this, but I think it's We apologize, but I think it's Nawa, but it's an indigenous Mexican last name. Mm-hmm. It's dated all the way back to before the Aztec Empire.
Oh wow!
The people with the Tlate Serplex last name were known to be priests, scientific minds, mathematicians, and they were really just knowledge givers.
Okay, so that takes me into your doctor side.
Exactly.
Why is Doctor Real Estate? Tell me more about that part. I know, probably some people know, but I don't know.
Yeah. So it's not everybody. I always get asked this question: are you really a doctor? And I'm not a medical doctor, right? But I do have a doctorate degree. I have a PH.D. in organic chemistry.
Oh wow!
So my bachelor's degree is in actually chemistry and biology, and then I have a master's degree in pharmaceutical chemistry and a PhD in organic chemistry.
So if real estate doesn't work out, you have an industry you can go into.
I literally will set up a lab in my backyard, just like Breaking Bad, and I am making testosterone for the rest of my life. I am trained.
Of course, we're not doing that.
We're not doing that. We're not. That's all jokes.
We're gonna continue being successful in real estate.
But that is my background. I have a science background, very quantitative background. I love numbers. I love data. Mm-hmm. And it's funny. I actually got my Dr. Real Estate name from a seller of mine.
Oh, wow.
I was part-time in this industry. I'm in the industry 9 years now.
And when you graduated, so we can some timeline?
My PhD?
Yes.
I was 29 years old. I'm 36 right now. So 7 years ago.
So you were studying chemistry.
I was studying chemistry, doing my PhD.
Doing your PhD, and at the same time you were doing real estate part-time.
Part-time real estate.
Okay.
And I got into it because I wanted to hold and fix and flip and hold multifamily. So at that time, my broker, who's still my best friend right now, he helped me buy my first multifamily.
Oh, wow.
And I was 20.
We're talking about 9 years ago.
9 years ago.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Kids, listen out there.
And kids, back then, my mom is a single mom. Mm-hmm. We were living in a tiny apartment in Passaic.
So you were originally from Passaic?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we're in Passaic, the office in Passaic.
445 Paulson Ave. That's where I grew up.
Oh,
actually.
Wow.
But
interesting.
We didn't have much money. And I remember one day I just had this idea. I'm always full of ideas. I had this idea to save up all my money and buy a multifamily. And this was completely foreign and scary to my mom.
How much was it? Let's tell the price real quick.
So I bought the house for $215,000.
Let's just not say what price it is now.
I sold that house 4 years ago. Guys, when you're holding a 2-family, don't repeat my mistake. It's worth like $650,000 right now.
You would have been able to refinance and buy a couple more. Yes. It's the story of your life, right?
Story of my life. The one mistake. I'm like, why did I do that? But $215,000. Mm-hmm. And my best friend helped me buy it. And that's when he was the one that told me, you're really good with people. You should think about getting your license.
The real estate license.
My real estate license.
You're doing your PhD?
I'm doing my PhD.
And you just bought your first house?
I bought my first house. And
now you're like, let me become a real estate agent.
He's telling me, just get your license. And I remember, I literally can remember that conversation. Mm-hmm. I think I was like 26 or 27 years old, something like that. And I said to myself, I was like, what the hell am I going to do with real estate? Mm-hmm. You were like,
interesting.
It doesn't make sense because I'm just going to be a professor one day. It doesn't make sense. But I listened to him, and thank God I listened to him. I got my real estate license and I was selling part-time. So my second year.
Where were you going to school at this time? Because if you live in Passaic, right? Because
Passaic.
You live with your mom.
Yep.
You bought your house in Passaic as well.
Clifton, actually. Literally right here, Portland Ave, right by the Lexington Diner.
And I've been to. It's a nice diner.
Right there.
So you've been in Passaic.
Yep.
And then you were going where to school?
New York, NJIT.
So NJIT.
Yeah, New Jersey Institute of Technology.
Got it.
Yep. So I drove there. It wasn't a big deal.
I thought you went to New York.
Well, and then I got my postdoc, and then I went to NYU. I commuted there.
Oh wow.
But I got my license, and
hey, by the way, sorry that I'm interrupting you real quick. Anything's possible.
Anything.
Look, he's young. He was a young kid. He's
still young.
Yeah, still young. 36, still young, I believe. I'm going there, so I hope I'm still young. But anything's possible. It's like one day you were just you're with your mom in the house studying, and then the next day you were a real estate agent and an owner of real estate. Yeah. Like, so if you're thinking that you can't do something, just be patient. You'll get it.
And to piggyback on that, my mom's primary fear was, we don't have enough money. And then, she's much better now.
Plus, you just came out of 2008.
Plus, we got out of 2008. She's thinking, what if the tenants don't pay? What if we don't make money? How we're going to pay the bills? Yeah. And even till this day, I just had a conversation with her this morning about it. She still thinks like this. And I'm like, Mom, like I got my mom her car. I got my mom her apartment. Like
she's nice.
One of the biggest goals for me in the beginning was I just wanted my mom
to have security.
Never worry about money.
Yeah, the same goal I have, by the way.
Yeah, never worry about money, Mom.
That's the reason I'm worrying about all this.
But she still to this day, she worries about me.
Now she changed it.
Now she's like, but I'm like, Mom, we got to get out of this mentality. We cannot have this mentality. That mentality is just negative and it's just going to bring us down. Yeah. Right. But back then, she didn't know any of this. So I had $9,000 saved up in my bank account. It took me almost a year and a half to save up that money.
You work hard for it, though.
I had $9,000 in my savings and like $500 in my checking. And that's what I used as a down payment and closing costs for my down payment because I had seller's concession. Concession. Okay. So that's all I needed. And I bought the house. And then we moved into it. And then we found a renter.
Oh. So you were living in one apartment and you were renting the other.
Correct.
What was the rental income at that time?
$1,600 we were collecting.
Not bad.
Which wasn't bad at all.
Because right now you're collecting 2,000.
Right. It was about 18.
They're going to 24 16. Now. But yeah.
I mean, I have one in Passaic right now. You wouldn't believe how much I rented it out for. $3,500.
In Passaic?
On 8th Street.
By the way, I'm living in Garfield and a little secret, it's 18.
Oh.
I just moved in. Good. I'm so happy that I got good connections.
Awesome.
But it's
crazy
Garfield,
out there. I know.
For 18.
It's great.
It would have been 26 if it was somebody else. Yeah.
Good for you.
35. How many rooms though?
So the 3,500 is 5 bedrooms and one full bath.
Don't mislead. I'm 2-bedroom. It's a 2-bedroom.
Downstairs, 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths. I got $2,800 for it.
Not bad.
It's a cash cow right
now.
So
it's like definitely a cash cow. But does it have a basement in the attic and
each
floor?
It has an unfinished basement and it has an attic. So the second unit is included with the attic.
Okay, so
but that one I learned my lesson. It's not going to be a Portland Ave. I am never selling that one. Ever.
don't make that mistake.
Never.
But yeah, so we're giving you guys a couple of gems here.
So back to the original question, right? Dr. Real Estate, where did it come from? So I was a second year agent, still part-time agent, right? And, to be honest with you, the reason why I got into real estate in the first place was because I was watching $1 Million Listing New York. I don't know, for all the younger guys out there, the new cool show out there is, what is it? The Netflix show?
Yeah, Selling Sunset.
Selling Sunset? Is that what it's called?
Selling Sunset.
I don't watch it, so I don't know what it's about. But apparently that's like the new real estate show.
The $1 Million Listing is with Sirhan, right?
$1 Million Listing was with Ryan Sirhan, Frederick Eklund, and then who I resonated with because he was Latino was Luis Ortiz.
Got it.
He was the Puerto Rican guy on there who was the underdog, came from nothing, and was competing against these bigger name brokerages. Yeah. I just stumbled across that one show one day, and I saw that he made like a $30,000 commission check, and I was like, I can do that. I had no experience in sales. Had no experience in sales. Had no idea what it was to prospect. Didn't have one class in business. I had no idea what the hell I was doing.
And we're talking 10 years back. We're talking 13. Yep. 2013, right?
2013, exactly. 2013, summer of 2013.
Nice.
And that's what put the idea in my head. 1, to buy a house, and 2, I think I can do this real estate thing. But I wanted to be a luxury real estate agent. That was my goal. That was my goal in the beginning. So 2 years in, part-time agent, I landed my first $1 Million Listing. in Wayne.
Wait. So a kid from Passaic. Landed $1 million listing back in 2013, which is a different market.
Yep.
Because $1 million back then were $1 million. $1 million now is actually Passaic.
You're right. Oh my God. Crazy.
So how? Like, what do you do that was so different that a lot of agents that are in the industry can't do right now?
So back then, before I got into cold calling, what I did back then is I used to door knock a lot. That's all I used to do to get my properties. That's how I used to get listings. I remember I was 2 months licensed and I got my first listing in Clifton, 325 Grove Street. Okay. It was a door knock, 2 months license, and I listed it for $525 and I sold it.
Wow. Year
2, I was door knocking one day. Actually, I was door knocking that whole entire week. I used to door knock Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on, I would get out of school like around maybe 4:30. Okay. And I would just door knock, right? For like 2 hours.
For 2 hours. What you do is you pick the block, you walked up that block.
No, I was a little bit more specific. I would take expired listings and I would just door knock them.
Oh, got it.
And that's what I did that week. And I remember Saturday, I got
underrated things, guys.
Underrated things. That whole week, I can remember that. Dude, it was horrible. Everybody was just so nasty to me that week. Everybody was shutting the doors on me. Everybody was telling me, get the F off of my property.
Don't bother me.
Nobody wanted to talk to me. So then Saturday, I had a whole day of door knocking from like 10 to 3. And I decided to go. And from 10 to like 2:30, same thing. Everybody was shutting the door on me.
You didn't give up.
Everybody was telling me, no. So then I had the 403 Parish Drive. That was the last one on the list. Mm-hmm. It was the biggest one out of all of them. All the $300,000, $400,000, everybody was telling me no. This one was the $1 million one.
Incredible.
So I drove past it. And when I saw that house, I was like, yeah, I shouldn't door knock on this. I'm not going to get this. This is crazy. I'm 2 years in. I have never sold anything close to $1 million. Mm-hmm. So I drove away. And as I'm driving away, there's a light there on French Hill Road in Parish. And it was red. And I was just like, something in my head was telling me, you need to go back there and you need to door knock.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. And FYI, my father passed away when I was 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
And my father was also a realtor. My father was also vice president of sales at his brokerage as well. It's very weird and eerie, the similarities in our life.
Wow.
So now I think back and I honestly think that was my dad talking in my head, telling me to just go back there.
Makes sense. So like, don't give up. He's telling you, don't give up. You can do it.
Yeah, something in my head was telling me, go back. Go back. So I went back. I drove in, huge ass wraparound, circle driveway. I get out the car. I'm all suited up in my best suit. I go up. I knock on the door, and there's this gigantic German Shepherd that literally almost killed me. Like literally almost killed me.
Again, you're young. You're actually 9 years younger, right?
I'm 9 years. I was 28 years old.
Still like trying to figure things out.
Still trying to figure things out. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell? Should I just get the hell out of here? And his name was Howard. He passed away. God bless us. I love that guy. That guy gave me my career, basically.
Oh, wow.
He opened the door and he was nasty as hell. He was like, what the hell do you want? Why are you on my property? Mm-hmm. I should let my dog go. He'll kill you right now.
Oh, well.
That's how he
shook you right to your core.
Talked to me. And I was like, oh my God.
What should I do?
What should I do? So now when I teach my agents, now I teach them the concept of framing, right? I look at the world, especially in business, from a viewpoint of framing.
Okay.
And I teach them that there's 3 types of frames you're always going to encounter in real estate. Whether you're dealing with a seller, whether you're dealing with a buyer, you're going to encounter a power frame, you're going to encounter an analytical frame, and you're going to encounter a time frame.
Okay.
And a power frame is the most common frames that we're going to encounter in real estate. That's when
it's a power structure. Who has the power?
Who has the power in the conversation, right? Yep. And most of us don't understand that we're actually facing this.
Yeah. Every time you have a negotiation, it's a power struggle. Who has the power of the conversation?
For example, a time frame, right? You always get those type of sellers that will say, well, thank you for coming. You'll knock on the door, you'll come in, they'll say, oh, well, listen, I only have 10 minutes, so you have to make it quick.
Yeah.
A lot of agents don't realize that's a time frame coming at them. So what they do is they get nervous And I said, no problem. Thank you so much for having me. Let me go show you why I'm the best. And then you rush through the presentation.
Instead of selecting another time so you have control of the time.
You know what I do in those cases? I say, well, Jim, now you only have 7 minutes of my time. That's what I tell them.
Also, you reverse it.
And sometimes they get pissed and sometimes they laugh. When they get pissed, they say, oh, I only have 5 minutes now. Okay, Jim, well, you just cut your time down to 2 minutes. And then I've gone down to 30 seconds. Literally, that has happened.
You're just showing them.
I come down to 30 seconds. And then at some point, I laugh and they laugh. And then that's the icebreaker.
It breaks everything.
Then I say, listen, can we get down to business? I'm here to sell your home and make you a lot of money. Let's do business now.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know what? You're right. Okay, come on, let's do this. That's a framing.
The dynamic.
Yeah, you killed it. That's a framing, right? Mm-hmm. So that's how I teach my agents. I teach them to recognize these frames, right? So when I encountered this guy when I was a rookie agent, I didn't know about framing.
Yeah,
I had no idea about what I just told you right now. Mm-hmm. It was just like an instinct for me, right? And when he said that, I got nervous as hell. And I remember I told him, listen, I'm here because I know I'm the broker to sell your home. You've tried to sell your home for 2 years. All these other big name brokerages couldn't get it done. Yeah. What do you have to lose with me? I said it just like that.
Very confident.
Very confident. And it was hot as hell. It was in August. It was hot as hell. He probably saw me sweating through my suit.
Yeah.
And then he just looked at me and he said, come inside. Wow. Came inside. He gave me a tour of the home. He put the dog in the yard, gave me a tour of the home. And I just bonded with him. And then the next day I came back to meet his wife, met his wife. The next day after that, they signed a listing agreement.
Wow.
Just like that. And I freaking sold it 4 months later.
Imagine that, because you also told him the truth. First of all, he did attempt to sell the property. How many times?
4 times.
So 4 times. He's like, what do you have to lose? Give him it to me now. A 5th time, I'm more hungry for it. Yep. I want this and I can do this.
Yep.
And he saw that through the conversation.
Yep.
And those are things that people don't understand right now. Let's get the story quickly back.
Yep.
You were saying that you spent the whole week knocking on doors. Nobody paid attention to you.
Correct.
Everybody was sending you away.
Yep.
But then you spent the Saturday, which you could have said, I'm staying home. Yep. Nobody has said anything. I got to change the strategy. He was like, no, I already had this on my appointment. I got to do it. And then not only that, you spend the whole day from 9 in the morning, right, to 2:30.
Yep, 2:30. Everybody said no.
Everybody said no. And when you were about to give up, God, your dad,
yep,
an instinct, all this came together and told you, no, you got to go back and knock on that door. You knocked on that door and you got, for a rookie, let's be honest,
I was
green. $1 million listing, which just not only gives you the confidence, right? But it proves to everybody else that you work around, he gets it done.
Yeah.
And that's what you're teaching the people that work with you.
And that's what I'm teaching my agents. And he was the one that gave me the Dr. Real Estate name.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Because after a month on the market, well, back then, we're so used to in the last 2 years, you put a listing on the market in like an hour, it's gone, right?
But back then, remember, again, we're coming back out of 2008.
Yep.
Not a lot of real estate transactions are moving easily.
Correct.
And yeah, everything's moving a little slower.
Everything is moving a little slower. So we were getting showings though. We did, I completely, so in terms of marketing, I literally copied exactly what they used to do $1 million listing.
Okay.
Like literally the wording, the description, everything. The videos, the marketing, I literally did play by play exactly what they did on $1 million listing.
They're giving it free. They were giving it to you for free.
They were giving it to me for free. And back then, one of my somebody that I really look up to in this business, and he's a great friend of mine. We still talk business. Joshua Barris, NJ Lux. Okay. I don't know if you know him, but I mean the guy is #1 in luxury listings in New Jersey. The guy sells. He doesn't have a team. It's him by himself with like his assistant. Oh, wow. He's doing like 50 to 70, 75 million a year in luxury listings.
Wow.
So I saw him 7, 8 years ago. He had some like penthouse apartment in Fort Lee, one of those apartments. And I saw him do like this Instagram video for it.
Okay.
And back then, Instagram wasn't what it is right now.
Yeah. It was majorly Facebook, the attention, not Instagram.
Exactly. So
Instagram was a photo app. Remember that people used to post photos,
right?
And then little by little, it grew to a
little by little,
platform.
they started going into videos, and that was the year where they started going into videos, right?
Yeah.
And
this is for the kids, by the way.
This is for the kids. I remember I reached out to him, and to this day, he's the only. And I reached out to a lot of agents, and they were all complete. Sorry for cursing, dicks to me. But Josh was the complete opposite.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though he didn't have a team and he was just with the assistant.
He just wanted to help.
Wow, that's great.
That's amazing. And
because that tells you about his personality. It's not that he didn't want to work with a team. It's just that he didn't need it and he was open to help.
Exactly. And he told me, you should do a video for this and do a paid promote it to specific, like a specific demographic.
He gave you gold.
So he gave me gold.
This is 15?
No, this is 2016. 16, yeah.
He gave you gold.
He gave me gold. So that's what I did. I did a full-blown video marketing just the way they would do it on $1 Million Listing. I hired professional photography to do like really nice Twilight and Twilight photography. And
because at that time it was underused. Now everybody uses it, but at that time,
that's how I used to get my buyers back then too.
Smart.
So I did that, and I was getting a lot of hits. And one of the buyers that came actually saw the Instagram video promotion in Jersey City. The buyer came from Jersey City and bought that house.
And this is where was his house at?
In Wayne, New Jersey.
Oh, wow. So that was far for him.
But it
was about 20 miles away, right?
Yeah. He said, listen, I came across this video on my
I liked the house.
Instagram, and I liked it. And I, truth be told, he actually reached out to me first because I was a part-time agent. I didn't pick up. So he went with his other broker. So the broker came in, and I'm good friends with that broker too, but he came in and sold a house. But that's how I sold that house. And so the seller, Howard.
He still got a commission.
I still got a commission. The seller, Howard, basically said, Pete, because I told him about getting my PhD and all that stuff. And he's like, you know what? You should call yourself the doctor of New Jersey real estate. And I remember I told him, I was like, Howard, that is the stupidest thing in the world. I said, if I call myself that, I'm going to get laughed at and I'm going to get ridiculed. That's so dumb.
And today?
And today, nobody knows my real name. Everybody calls me Doc, Dr. Real Estate. He's the one that told me, because he came from like a marketing background. And he's like, this is for a realtor. This is gold for you. He's like, this is great.
The name has a story. And that's the most important part. And that automatically, what happens is me as a viewer, right? Because I didn't know you, but I seen your page before.
Yeah.
Because I seen with the people you work in the videos.
Yep.
So it was like, why doctor? It was always why doctor.
Yeah.
And now I finally came to the answer, but we're talking about, I've been asking this for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Since I came across, but it's like, oh, this is why it's Dr. Real Estate. So it is catchy. It is and then it's unforgettable.
Yep.
Because now you won't see another Dr. Real Estate because they'll just be copying.
Yeah. And I know there are a couple people that tried and it just didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But he gave me that name and it stuck. The Dr. Real Estate. And I just started calling myself Dr. Real Estate before I had a PhD.
Yeah.
And then I would say after I, became a full-time agent, that's when the Dr. Real Estate brand just started growing and expanding. And everybody knows me as a listing agent, but I'm also a really great buyer's agent.
But that's good because you can be in both parts, right?
Exactly.
And it's more important sometimes and a lot of times
to
get the listing and get your own buyer.
Exactly.
Because the commission is higher and it's better for you. But it's also important because you control the transaction and how everything goes. And if I'm not going to say that there are bad agents out there, but there are misinformed agents.
Correct.
That misinform people.
Yep.
And don't give them the 100%. So I know that you've been in different brokerages.
Yep.
You have your own brokerage now. Tell me a little bit about that part. Like, especially with the misinformed part.
Sure.
How do you help your agents be on top of the line? Like you said, you have already teaching them how to, get customers, how to find their own listings.
Yep.
But how are they always taking care of the clients?
So, I'm a team leader right now, right? Okay. So I'm under the EXP brokerage, right?
Okay.
I'm not a broker myself. I'm a team leader, right? Okay. But we have a branch office in Wallington that we opened up and we invested money in, right? So for my majority of my career, I've never been anywhere else. I was at one brokerage, a boutique brokerage, non-franchise brokerage in Clifton. And, you know, the broker record there, still my good friend, still my best friend. I would not be the agent that I am.
Quick question. So you're talking about for the past 2016
up until I joined EXP in June of this year.
So that means you were with him for a long time.
For a very long time.
That's surprising.
My whole career.
That's surprising because right now agents just
they're everywhere.
Everywhere.
They're everywhere.
So, I've seen someone change the brokerage in 1 year 3 times.
Oh my God. That's not a good look, guys.
No, it's
Don't
not.
do that.
No, it's not.
Don't do that. But I was with him my whole entire career.
Mm-hmm.
And I would not be the agent that I am today without him. So he had his banker's license. He owned a mortgage company at one point. He was an underwriter. He was a processor. He was a loan. He knows the mortgage process front and back. And a lot of people don't realize, especially the new agents. Mm-hmm. And I always give this scenario to a brand new agent that I'm interviewing. I say, let's just say you're at a Dunkin' Donuts or a Starbucks. You know, you're ordering coffee and then you take a business call and the guy next to you hears you're a realtor and he says, "You're a realtor? I want to buy a house." The natural reaction to a new agent within the last 3 years, they're going to say, "Great, let me get you in touch with my mortgage lender." That's what everybody generally does, right?
And I don't think that's good. Honestly.
No, that's horrible.
So you're basically saying, do you qualify even before knowing what they were looking for and what they wanted, if you can even help them figure out what they need?
Exactly. So I was taught that instead of doing that, what you do is you buy their coffee, you buy them something to eat, and then you tell them, let's go sit down and let's talk.
Let me see, what do you need? What is it you're looking for?
Exactly. And then I say, so you sit down, what do you ask them? And they have no idea what to ask. So I say, you have to ask them how much they make a year. If they're W-2 or self-employed,
Mm-hmm.
how much, if they're, self-employed, what are they netting, right? Because there's a difference on the 1099 versus what they net. And if they're W-2, how much do they make gross a year pre-tax, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you need to ask them, what is their total monthly debt obligation?
Correct.
Car payments, student loans, child support, whatever it is, right?
Yep.
Those two things. What is your median FICO score, right? That's a big one too, right? Once you have all of that information, then you say, I'm going to run some numbers for you right now. I'm going to calculate what's called a front-end ratio and what's called a back-end ratio. Because every bank, every lender has different criteria on how much maximally they can go on their front end and how much maximally they can go in on their back end, right? Cookie cutter banks like Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, right? They're very within their box, right? And if you're like just a smidge out of their box, you're done. They don't qualify you. Their ratios are very low versus you go to like an MLB, their back end ratios can go into like the 50, 52, 51, whatever plus. It qualifies them for more, right?
Of course.
So then we get all this information, we run the numbers on paper, right? And then we see, okay, I think there's something here. John, based on what you just told me, because it's based on what you told me, you could be lying to me.
Of course.
But based on what you just told me, based on you only want to pay $3,000 a month in a mortgage, you should qualify for X amount if you want to buy a multifamily. You should qualify for X amount if you want to buy a single family home.
Of course.
But now let's really verify these numbers. Let me get you in touch with my mortgage lender. You're going to have to submit tax returns, W-2s,
all your
information, and then we'll go from there.
Now let's break it down for some people, right? Because some people are not going to understand what you just did there.
I know.
So instead of sending him to the wolf, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this.
And they get scared.
It's a scary process.
What? You want to steal my information?
It's like, it's too much personal information.
Yes.
And let's add a little more spice to it. If you're dealing with a Latino.
I love my Latinos.
Yes, but your mom wouldn't give you she wouldn't trust.
My mom would be like, yo, they're trying to scam me.
They're trying to scam me, right? So by you walking them through the process, you took the verbal information.
Yep.
You told them this is what you qualify based on this information you give. Now we need to verify this.
Right.
So now they're knowing their mind, they feel safer and secure. And also, Juanita from the block can come and say, I always say Juanita.
Juanita is my grandma's name.
Oh, that's
hilarious.
But she can come and say, hey, I can take care of you. I can get you a listing. Juanita is not going to get the business because you took care of them. And they feel like, I feel secure with
Correct.
him.
Correct.
So it is important for you to make sure that your customer, regardless of the industry, let's even take it outside of real estate, regardless of the industry, they need to feel secure with what you're doing and know that whoever's helping the client knows what they're doing.
Correct.
Because if you don't know what you're doing, well, my success in my business is that people know that what I'm doing it right because they see by examples, not by just me saying it by the mouth. Correct. And new agents and new people in business, new kids in business, right? They think that by saying, "Oh, I graduated in this, I took this course, I did this," that's only 20 to 40% of the experience.
So true.
The rest you learn on the field, doing the work.
And it's completely different. It is completely different. You need somebody guiding you. But that's a question that I'm going to ask because you're right. Before somebody decides to buy from you, they need to trust you.
Yeah.
You need to build a relationship with them. If you're just sending them to your lender right off the bat, that lender doesn't know what's going on. The lender's going to do what their job is. I need this, and this. I need all tax return pages, front and back, all back statements, 1 through 14, even if the last page is blank. I need everything. That's a lot of information. And that's a lot of like, oh my God, this is kind of scary. I didn't know it was going to be like this.
And imagine, a lender, we have to, of course, lenders, you guys have a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to throw you on the bus, but they're dealing with hundreds of people.
Yeah.
Because you're sending how many people a day to qualify?
Exactly.
So it's like, they don't sit down and do the customer service side of it because
it's just a robotic.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a process.
It's a process.
Out of 100, 2 are going to qualify or 10 are going to qualify. And that's what we're looking for, those 10, not to please 100 and trying to figure out how they qualify.
Exactly. And so, from my perspective, and for new agents out there, this is a great way to build a relationship with a lender, right? Because lenders, we can co-market on Zillow, you can pay for Facebook ads, whatever it is you want to do. But guess what? A lender wants to make sure, A, that you're competent and you know what you're doing, and B, that you're going to get those deals closed, right? So one of the best ways over my career that I've been able to leverage myself with these lenders is listen. And usually it plays out this way because a situation like this where I bring that type of prospect to the lender, I'll call the lender. I'll say, hey, John Smith, I got this guy. He makes $100,000. He only has $500 a month in debt. His median FICO score is 750. He's a W-2 employee. Now listen, I didn't see, this is what he told me. We know buyers are liars, right? But if this checks out, this could be a good pre-approval. Can you please verify this?
Yeah.
The lender is going to be like, oh, Doc, thank you for making my life easy. And I've already prepped the client. I've told the client, listen, now they're going to ask for this. In order to verify what you just told me, we have to look at this. I'm not going to look at it as a realtor, but the lender is. So just make sure you submit it in a timely fashion.
Yeah.
Usually they're cool with it. I build a cool relationship with them. They see my Instagram. They know I do a lot of business, so they trust me. Within 2 days, the lender comes back and says, Pete, they're gold. $750,000. Let's go. And
that's the difference between a successful transaction and not a good transaction. I know that you're a real estate agent, and you work with a big team, so and you have heard a lot of different stories,
of course,
of different agents who treat people bad, and all they're doing is killing their own business. Correct. Because in 20 years, which people don't think of more than a year, right? Because
sorry about that.
We'll be back after this. I'm just kidding.
I'm turning it off.
People don't think over the next 20 to 40 years. They don't look at the growth of their business, right? Correct. They all look at what am I going to make this year or next year,
right?
Because
1,000%.
That's what we need to know.
The worst way.
What I'm going to make, and I used to think like that because I'm young. I'm 29 years old. I'm about to be 30. So,
congrats.
Thank you. I had a son, so now life is but yeah. But yeah, so I used to think like that. I used to think that business was whatever I'm making right now. Not understanding that if you slow down, don't think of the profits.
Correct.
Just think of survival and focus on building network and having a net worth, having your name that when somebody says, for example, I have 3 names we can say right now, right? So Cesar Suarez, Total Social is the company, and then Marketing Today, which is the brand that I'm trying to build. All those 3 names represent something. And if you make sure you build that name, you build that brand, eventually the money will come.
1,000%. You just hit it on the nail. 1,000%.
But everybody worries about the money of today.
And, I come from my mom's, my family's generation comes from living, the paycheck to paycheck, living now, right? Not thinking about investments in the future. And you just hit it on the nail. I was probably the most financially illiterate Latino out there for the last however many years. Honestly, I didn't start to look at the way you're looking at it until I was probably 32 years old.
Oh, so 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
So you were the agent who was worried about the now and not the future.
I was the agent worried about the now and not the future.
Wow.
And now...
That's a lot of guts to say, by the way.
Hey, listen, I'm an open book. Everybody knows me on social that I'm raw. I'm real.
I can see.
I don't take BS. I call out BS when I see it. But I'm also very comfortable with acknowledging my flaws, because if I can help an agent that's 25, 26, not make my mistakes and save them.
It's life-changing.
It's life-changing, when you think like that.
Yeah.
And I guess it's a great segue to get into EXP. What your initial question, what do I do to help my agents? Right?
Yeah, that one-on-one support.
That one-on-one support. And, what I've noticed, is that a lot of these agents, like I said, going into the pre-approval conversation, is they don't have the basic fundamentals, the basic foundations of sales.
Okay.
Right? It's not that they don't want to learn. Maybe they do. I don't know. But what we're seeing right now is basically two types of models out there. We're seeing the mom and pops, right? Which can be incredible for a brand new agent, right? But then we have the really high split brokerages, right? We won't mention any names, but the ones that are doing the 75% splits, the 80,
they know,
90,
the agents know,
the 100%ers, right? But what a lot of rookie agents don't realize is, yes, they're giving you 75, 80, 90, 100. But after the transaction fees, after the royalty fees, after the franchise fees, after the office fees,
everything changes.
Everything changes. That 100 is really like an 85. That 90 is like 75. That 75 is like a 55, 60%, right? Versus the boutique brokerages, generally they start everybody at 50%, right? And I came from a boutique brokerage. I started at a 50% split.
Okay.
But I got that one-on-one, literally, no matter what time it was in the day. I have no idea what's going on in this deal. The attorney just said this. What do I do?
Yeah.
The listing agent is ripping me apart. I have no idea what I'm doing. Can you help? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
That's priceless, by the way.
That's what I got. Not only that, but I was also taught, how do I get my own business? My old broker used to give me all the business. Every lead that came in, I would take, right? But then I was also taught how to fish and hunt for my own business, right? On the buyer side and on the listing side. So can you imagine? I got 24 hours a day, 7 days a week support. I got all the leads I can ask for. And I was taught how to prospect for my own business.
Yeah.
How to build my own business.
That's how you build a sustainable real estate business.
That's how you build a sustainable real estate business, right? And that's why I became the powerhouse that I am today, right? But the 100%, the 75, the 80, the 90, agents have to realize that if you're getting that split, right? Is the broker, coach, mentor, team leader, are they really going to spend time with you? No, the answer is no. You already are getting all the money. So the incentive for that broker to help you is not there.
But break it down a little more for someone who's new in the industry and doesn't understand. So for example, right, when you're getting 100% of your money, that broker has to go out and make their own money as well.
Correct.
So they're busy doing their deals, getting listings into the brokerage.
Correct.
So you can get buyers and come in and sell it. So they can't take time out and sit down with you. So explain it like a little more into, I think I did a good explanation, maybe. But
yeah, so it takes a lot of time to invest in an agent that's brand new.
Yeah.
Right? And before I came to EXP, I had a vice president of sales role. And then I was business development at one point. And so I got into the broker side of the business of managing, coaching, mentoring, and helping these agents.
Before you did what you're doing now.
Before what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
And I realized that being a producing agent versus going to a coaching mentoring role is night and day.
Very different.
You cannot be an actor. I don't care what anybody says, but you cannot be a rock star producer and think that you're going to have the time to invest into your new agents. It's just like any business. If you run multiple businesses and you're 50% in one and 50% in the other, they're not going to blow up. They're not going to be successful. You really got to put your heart and soul into one.
That's true.
This is what people don't realize right now, is that if you're a producing agent, you're not going to put 100. This is what I realize. You're not going to put 100% in your agents. And if you don't put 100% in your agents, they're not going to succeed. Plain and simple.
That is true.
Plain and simple.
I tried opening a couple of businesses. It's true.
Me too. So did I.
Side by side, trying to say like, oh, this one can sustain this. It can't. You have to either have a team, meaning have people that you trust,
correct,
that can be designated in those businesses, and also understand that you're not going to make as much because you're not giving your 100%.
Yep.
But it takes time to grow.
I had before real estate, I had a supplement store. I had a online fitness training.
Okay.
I had, because I was a scientist, I tried to formulate high protein paletas.
Okay.
Which I successfully did. But it never took off.
I was going to ask that one next.
It never took off. So those were all my ideas. And I was doing PH.D. I was doing real estate. Much. That's 5 businesses right there.
Yeah.
That in my young, naive mind, I thought,
you could do it.
I could do it. I could do it all.
But it's really difficult.
Very difficult.
Because it's not difficult because you don't have the knowledge to do it. It's just that each business needs time.
Correct.
And the time is what gets the business to the right place.
Exactly.
And if I'm only dedicating 20, well, in this case, 20,
yep,
percent of the time, it's going to take how many? 5 times.
5, yeah.
5 years to just get 1 year.
It's crazy.
So imagine, it's better to focus in one.
Yep.
Create resources, create systems.
Yep.
Leave that one working, then dedicate 75% of the time to another one. And then you can still come here and be 25, but you already know the systems of this one, and then continue building.
So that 1,000%, and that's what a lot of people out there don't realize, right? So yeah, the broker's offering 180. They can't really put the time and effort into their agents because they're already getting the agents are already getting all the money.
Yeah.
So that leaves those agents with 2 choices, right? Number 1, let me join a team. Number 2, let me not join a team and I'll do my own thing, right? Once they join a team, people don't realize is they have to pay the team leader, right?
Yep.
It could be anywhere between 20 to 50%. I've interviewed agents. So right now at EXP, I'm up to 40 agents.
Okay.
They all have come from different brokerages. And across the board, the average seems to be at least 50%, right? So if you're at, let's just make it even better, 100%. Let's just say they only take 10% off of for everything else. Now you're at 90%. Now you have to pay 50% to the team leader, whether or not you brought that deal on your own or whether he gave you a deal or she gave you a deal, 50%. So that brings you from 90 to 40%. 40%. 45, yeah. 45%. Yeah. Now, if you're at a boutique brokerage and they start you at 50% split and you have to pay a team leader 25, 30%, your 50% is really 20%, 25%. It's not sustainable, right?
Yeah, you're not going to be able to make enough.
It's not sustainable. Income. So those agents usually, after a year or 2, leave.
They jump ship.
They jump ship. Some are successful, some are not, right? But those agents would probably be more successful theory-wise than the ones that went into a 175, 80%.
Yeah.
Because if they join a team, they're going to realize after a year that this is not worth it, right? And usually from what I've gathered from my agents is that even on a team, their team leaders are incompetent and they're not teaching them everything that they need to be taught. They're looking at them like a number. That's where they mess up.
Yeah.
And if they decide to be on their own, they have no guidance. They have no mentorship. So eventually after a year, after 2, after 3, they've closed 4 deals, maybe.
Imagine that.
Maybe 4 deals. And then they just get discouraged and they leave.
Yeah, they just leave and go do something else.
So I made the move to EXP. I told you in the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be that middle person, right? That I can't be the 100%, but I don't want to be the 50% either. I want to be somewhere in the middle, right? Because I want to be able to give my agents my heart and my soul, right? And the way I look at my agents is, what can I do to bring them value? Right?
Which is the most important.
That is when agents team leaders and brokers start to look at their agents as numbers, like how much can you bring me? Yeah. You're done. You're not going to be
teaching anything.
You're not teaching anything. You're not going to be successful. Bring me money. It's only a matter of time before your business fails. That is not the right way of looking at your agents. The right way is, what can I do to bring value to you? What can I do to help you succeed?
Yep.
Right. That's how I look at my agents, every single one of them. And looking at my agents like that within the last 2 years has completely transformed my business.
Yeah.
And one of the most basic fundamental things with my new agents is just teaching them the basics of sales. Framing, right? What is framing? I'm a big cold caller now.
Yeah, I see that you have a seminar for that.
I have a seminar. I've been doing it for a while now. I mean, the cold calling script that I use is proprietary to Dr. Real Estate. Mm-hmm. And, I've used that script to land, that $4.5 million listing in Mawa down to $300,000 sales in Passaic.
It's all
it's the whole spectrum. Mm-hmm. But I realized that it's very teachable. And I teach that to my agents. And when you're on the dialer, what I also teach my agents is, you don't always have to get a listing on the phone, because if you're cold calling a certain area and they say the owner doesn't live there, are you renting right now? Yes, I am renting right now. Oh, how much do you pay in rent right now? $2,500. Oh my goodness, Jim. What if I can get you into a multifamily home where you pay $2,500 to $3,000 and the other rental covers the rest of your mortgage? You own the property now. You have the benefits of tax deductions.
You got a new client.
You have the benefits of deducting your interest rates. Have you ever thought about it? No, I don't know what it takes. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, do you have a couple of seconds to stay on the line really quick and maybe I can explain it to you? Sure. Do you work full time right now? Yes. Are you W-2? Yes. You don't have to be specific with me. I know a lot of people get a little uncomfortable, but can you let me know how much do you make a year pre-tax? Is it 50? Is it 60? Is it 100? $75,000. How much debt do you have? The same things that we do in vetting a new prospect. But you're doing this over the phone to a renter.
Yeah.
I only have a $500 car payment a month. And what's your credit score? Do you know it? I think it's like 675. I don't think I could buy a house. No, you can. You're a great candidate, Mr. Renter. How long have you been renting? 10 years.
10 years.
Mr. Renter, you've been paying $2,500, $2,000, whatever it is, for the last 10 years. And I calculate over the phone how much that is. You're wasting all this money. I think it's time that you really consider getting pre-approved and looking and seeing what you can qualify for. Are you open to that?
So anyone is a client.
Anybody's a client. This is what I tell my agents. Anybody's a client. And I showed them this 3 weeks ago because we were cold calling together. Mm-hmm. And I vetted 4 renters that are now finally pre-approved. $650,000 two family, $500,000 single family, $350,000, $400,000 condos.
So basically you're saying, because this is what you're saying, is if you make a call and there's a renter on the line, he's a client.
He's a client.
You didn't waste time.
Didn't waste time.
Because a lot of people, what they do is that, oh, thank you. Have a nice day.
Boom, hang up.
That's and it's like, no, you're missing out on a potential client. Maybe not even him.
Exactly.
Maybe he has a cousin that's been trying to sell their house or buy a house for X amount of time, but they didn't have that right agent. He's like, took care of me. He's a nice dude. I wrote down his number. Juanita, here you go.
Everybody is a client, right?
Very important.
We cannot forget that everybody's a client out there. So what I tell my brand new agents,
exactly,
3 months, 6 months, a year in, I have like a little curriculum for them when they start with me. The first week is they learn everything that they need to know about mortgages, how to properly appraise a property.
And you're there to answer any questions.
I teach the whole class.
Nice.
It's Monday through Thursday. Me and my business partner, Fernando, we teach the course the whole entire week. 4 hours on mortgages, 4 hours on property condition, 4 hours on appraisals.
So it's an hour a day.
4 hours a day.
4 hours a day.
4 hours
so
a day.
it's an intensive course.
It's an intensive course. That's like the boot camp for our brand new agents.
But I mean, you're just setting them up for success because there's no reason why they should join your brokerage if they're not going to be successful.
Exactly. So
that's a great point. That's a great outlook on it too.
That's the boot camp, right? Week number 2, the basics of prospecting. How to get seller leads, how to get buyer leads. The scripts for the buyers, the script for the sellers. And I role play with them every single day for at least 2 weeks.
That's an interesting, different way to look at it, man.
Week 4, we hop on Mojo, the dialer. And I tell my agent, it's like, think of it like this. The role playing that we do with our scripts is like we're in the gym and we're training. We're training for a match, right? I teach you the tools. I teach you what you need to learn, and then you role play with me. I'm like your sparring partner. We're just sparring. Then we get on Mojo, the dialer, and now you're in a scrimmage game, right? You're going to test what I've taught you in training on the field.
Live.
Right? And then what I do that's different than every other team and brokerage out there, I'm one of the only teams out there that actually offers real seller leads. So like you, I hire a company to do my cold calling for me now with my script. So on average, I'll get about 10 or 15 seller leads a week. And they're real, legitimate seller leads.
So basically they ask the questions that you have. And then the ones they're like, okay, so we'll have one of our agents give you a call.
No, not only that. Well, yeah, that's one version. And then the other version, because I'm also an investor, I look for properties for myself. So I get properties off market like that.
It makes sense all the way.
So even if it's, hey, I have a client, a buyer that's interested in purchasing your multifamily home, would you be interested in selling? Usually if they're interested for the right number, yes. And then they ask them a series of questions. But now I know they want to sell. Usually in that call, motivation, why, where do they want to go?
And the most important part, if they want to sell for and if the price makes sense as an investor, you buy it. If it makes sense as a seller, you list it.
Boom. Genius.
Freaking genius.
So then I get and then it's voice recorded too.
Also, you can see the
wait, can I put this on? You want to hear this really quick?
Yeah, we can definitely put it on the Bluetooth.
Let's see. Or maybe I can just, so you guys can kind of understand.
I'll put it on the mic. You can also put it on the mic.
Let's see. I forgot I turned off my phone.
Oh, yeah. That's genius, bro.
So it's voice. Now I get the whole call. It's basically a voice recording, right? And it comes to me in real time. So I know everything. I know everything about this person.
And also, in the sense of what tone they use, you know how to,
I know if they were angry, excited, if they were just pissed. I know, so I can tell my agents,
come ready
on framing, this person's going to come at you from a power frame. Make sure you stand your ground. And if you get a power frame.
How do you settle this up, bro? Honestly, because I've been trying to do systems in my side of the business and haven't been able to figure out how to do. That's our systems that you have in place where you're helping these people have an upper edge in the deal.
Yeah. So let's see.
Go for it. Put it in the mic.
Yes, hi. Hey, am I talking to Nathiel Polsky? Yes, this is yes. It's Lady White, and I'm just calling about your property in Everett Place in East Rutherford. Are you interested to sell the property for a good cash offer?
Very good English.
A digital offer? I'm sorry. What did you say? I'm sorry. I heard every other word.
This is a power frame.
Are you interested to sell your property for a good cash offer? No, thank you. I have a few buyers if I would want to. I mean, would
this just came in
as a backup offer in case the other offers didn't work for you? I mean, I'm not selling it. I don't even have it. It's not even listed or anything like that. But I was just looking for top dollar. I mean, we're going to be buying the property with the top dollar. So if you got a reasonable price and our offer makes you satisfied, will you be selling? Or you're potentially interested to sell the property for a top dollar?
She's just good.
Potentially interested. That's a good way to put it.
Those are the conversations.
Exactly. Don't give them the whole speech.
So
they would just be right now writing it down. Oh,
I know, right?
This is the script.
So they get my agents. Well, so that's the game. That's what I call the actual game. So I prep my new agents, the boot camp first, right? All the knowledge stuff. Then weeks 2 to 3, the prospecting side of the business, buyers and sellers. Week 4, role playing with me to get you ready for a game.
Role playing
with me, right? You cold call me and we go back and forth until you get comfortable with the scripts. Week 5 and week 6, now we're on the dialers on Mojo, circle prospecting, farming a neighborhood, seeing if we can get somebody to bite, right? And then once I feel that you're comfortable with the script, you're flowing, that it's become integrated into your vocabulary, then I feel comfortable in giving them one of these leads. So we go from a from exercise training.
You don't want.
This costs a lot of money.
Exactly. You don't want to lose that lead.
This is not cheap. So we go from exercising training for the match, then we go into scrimmaging with the match and Mojo.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once I feel that the agents are almost there, then I tell them, guys, are you ready for a game? Like, this is prime time. You're going to be on live TV. This actually counts. There's no losing here. You need to win.
You need to handle this business.
You need to win.
You need to close.
Are you ready? Are you ready for this? And then they're like, yes, I'm ready. And then I give them the lead. But I'm there coaching them just in case.
Of course, right? you're listening.
Yeah,
you're looking.
I'm listening and I'm guiding them. And sometimes they mess up. But if they really mess up, then I take over. Okay. Then I just pretend that I'm there, that I'm them.
Yeah, okay.
And we seal the listings like that.
Wow.
That's how I bring value to my agents.
But that's a lot.
And
I'm not, honestly, that's a lot because your time is valuable.
Yes.
Your partner time is valuable. You're giving them a gold mine of information, which, like you said, not everybody does.
Yep.
And then they're basically set up, let's just even take it out of real estate real quick. They're set up to do any sort of business because you're showing principle of selling.
Anything. So now when I start giving them leads, buyer leads, I mean, we give them as much as they can handle. My buyer lead system is just like, it's like a moving.
When do you settle this up?
I started setting this up when I was at my other brokerage. I started to kind of figure it out. 2 years ago. Oh, well, it was for me though.
No, of course.
As a producing agent.
Once you knew it worked, you're like, I can actually offer, like, supply my team.
As a producing agent, I had these systems in place for me. So that's how, the last 2 years is, last year I closed almost 60 homes, 55 homes.
Oh, wow.
I did $25 million.
As a listing.
As a listing agent.
Okay.
I did $25 million last year.
Wow, congrats, man.
The year before that was $19 million. The year before that was like 8. So every year has been getting better and better.
Of course, because you're setting up and...
But the 18 millions, the 19 millions, the 25 millions is when I had these systems up and running. So the cold calling, I mean, I still cold call myself. I like to get in at least an hour. Mm-hmm. But these systems that I had just made it 10 times easier because I could seal these listings very easily. Mm-hmm. And the buyer leads, I mean, I would get like 40.
Don't mind me asking, but this is an investment. This is $100,000+ investment a year.
So remember how I told you that going into EXP and setting up my the team in the office, I'm realtor broke because it's very expensive.
Yeah, because her English is, I mean, she's here, right?
It's good. Yeah, she's here. Yeah,
she's not in India.
She's here.
Her English is perfect.
So it's expensive, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the seller platform is super expensive. The buyer platform, I mean, I spent a lot of money on Facebook ads, the office, the banners. I mean, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Right. So like I said, I had to go to a brokerage that made sense.
Time.
And then time.
Because by you teaching agents, it's taking time away from you to go out and sell and maybe close on these deals yourself.
Correct. But I'm okay with that.
Because you're thinking of the long run.
Right. This year I made that choice. Going into EXP, I knew I was going to have to make that choice.
Okay.
Because as I told you before, if you're a producing agent, you can't be 50-50.
Yeah.
One or the other is going to suffer.
Yeah.
So right now, I would say that I'm 92% on the coaching and mentoring side, 8% on the producing side.
Wow. That's a big flip.
That's where I'm at right now.
It's, again, long run business. You're not looking at a short-term business. Correct. So it's like, if you're able to produce at that level that you were able to produce over the last 3-4 years and take a step back and try to create a team and create a good organic team that everybody feels good, they feel like they're trained.
Yep.
That's interesting. That's next level.
I had to do that, and it's working like a charm because now everybody, almost all of our agents are landing listings. Mm-hmm. They're closing their buyer leads. Everybody's really, really happy. And I have to take a little bit of a cut on my paycheck, but it's not a big deal because I am looking long term.
Exactly.
This is the first 4 years, like from now until I'm 40 years old. My goal by the time I'm 40 years old is to have 1,000 agents.
Oh wow!
Underneath me,
in the team.
I'm at 40 right now. I'm at 40 right now.
But again, you started June, so you're going fast.
I'm going fast. I started in June, 3 months in, you're 40.
All right, so you're going 40. So your goal is 1,000.
1,000.
But you have 40
We have
right
40
now.
right now.
Since June, we're talking about what? 4 months? 3 months?
June, July, August, 3 months. 40 agents.
Can't believe it, man.
I can't either.
I've been trying to hire people, and a lot of people have come in and gone, and it's hard to get good people.
It's very hard. I mean, listen, I think I could probably be up to 75 by now, but I've interviewed a lot, but I don't hire everyone.
Okay, so you are very selective.
I am very selective
because you don't. It's time that you're investing.
It's time that I'm investing, but and this is nothing to knock any of the experienced agents, but for me, I look for somebody that has a good heart, because
that's important.
I can't train that. I can't teach having a good heart, right? I always preach to my agents that if the deal is not good for the buyer and the deal is not good for the seller, kill that deal.
Oh, wow.
Tell your buyer, listen, I'm sorry. Yeah, we invested $800 in a home inspection, whatever, $200 on a tank sweep, $1,000 so far, but this is not a good deal. I said, now if the sellers are not going to do this, I'm going to tell you to walk away from this deal. I tell my agents to say this all the time. And I'll get experienced agents that will say, what are you, crazy? No, we got to close this deal.
Mm-hmm.
I'd much rather have a brand new agent that knows nothing about sales, nothing about the business, requiring 100% of my time.
You can train them.
I can train them the right way to teach them moral principles of sales, because we still have to do everything ethically. Yeah. We still have to do everything morally, right? We have an obligation to our principal to do that, right? Mm-hmm. And I can't teach that to people that are set in their ways already.
And just looking at this as a dollar amount and not as a customer client relations experience, etc. So
exactly. And
it's a brand name versus a profit name.
Exactly. And so I look for that heart. That's the number one thing for me. If I can feel it, and usually I'm very good in feeling energies and feeling what somebody's really all about. Mm-hmm. If I feel they have a good heart, I mean, let's go. They're in. So I could have had 75 by now, and there have been a lot of people that were a little upset that I didn't hire them. But we have a core 40 right now that are monsters.
Give me one quick example. Sure. Not a lot of an agent that wouldn't make it to your team.
In general?
Mm-hmm. Like if I'm here and you're interviewing me, what is one thing that I could say that? But you automatically just go like, it's not, you're a good guy, everything's cool, but right now we're not looking for this.
So usually I can kind of gauge where the conversation is going to go from one, what they say in terms of, if they usually say, without even getting to know me, we're not talking about anything, it's just like right off the bat, what's my split, right?
Oh, that's done.
I know right off the bat
we're not gonna
that this is not going to work.
Yeah.
Because
makes sense.
It shouldn't be that question. The question should be, Doc, what are you going to do to help me succeed? Yeah. What do you offer that's going to train me and help me succeed?
Long-term value.
Versus what's my split right now on your team? I know right off the bat, it's not going
to work. Yeah.
It's just not.
So in any new agent, what you recommend is when you come in to any broker, not even you, or any team, right? Because we're talking about team right now. Brokerage and team. Don't worry about the split. Worry about what you're going to learn and how you're going to be able to help your clients in the long run.
Exactly.
And that's how you have a successful real estate business.
Exactly.
Because right now we have a lot of people coming from all other industries trying to get into real estate. And we're also going to have a lot of people exiting real estate.
1,000%. The last 2 years have been, if you were a listing agent.
I mean, remember, everybody was getting checks sitting at home. So they have the income. So if they rented an apartment, they rented one apartment a month.
Yep.
Plus that income that they had.
They were great.
They're good right now.
So
they can do whatever they want.
I mean, the last 2 years, I mean, as strictly as a listing agent, I mean, my median sales price in terms of listings was like $550,000.
Mm-hmm.
All I had to do was just click active on the listing. 5 hours later, oh my God, I got 10 offers already. Great.
Yeah.
That was the life of a listing agent the last 2 years. It was incredible.
You could have been eating in a restaurant chilling. I accept this offer. Hey, we just got an offer for $575. You want it? Yeah. Okay, cool.
That's it. Or at the dinner with my girlfriend, babe, somebody just gave us $100,000 over ask.
Over asking. Imagine that.
That's how crazy it was. Mm-hmm. It's not like that anymore. Now they're starting to sit on the market, but I've been through that market already. I know what it's like. A lot of my newer agents, they're like, Pete,
are we gonna be fine?
We're like a week into this listing and we don't have any offers. I'm like, guys, it's been a week.
Not a year.
If we're at week 6, 7, 8, and we're not getting anything, all right, now we got a problem. Now we got to think.
We got to figure out what happened.
We got to figure out
what's not working with this listing.
And they're like, "What's a price reduction?"
They don't know what that is because they haven't had to do it.
It's like when we reduce the price and the market is not tolerating our list price, we got to drop it. So that's the type of conversation that we're having right now, which is hilarious. Actually, just happened with one of our listings. It took about 6 weeks for us to get an offer. But then we ended up getting $20,000 above as. But I told my agent, don't worry. We're going to keep showing.
Be patient.
Keep doing our open houses. It's going to come. Don't worry.
That's what happens.
Don't worry.
People just need more to qualify now. And it's even, I believe it's a little better because it feels safer.
Correct.
It feels safer for the market because back then people had money. So that's why they were doing 50, 100 over asking. It's because who knows what type of loan they took out? I'm not gonna get into that subject. They didn't care. They just had money to dispose of, and they were doing it. So, Pete, thank you so much for being here, Dr. Real Estate. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Can you believe that we have been an hour and 5 minutes in this?
Oh, that went like this.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
So it was a great conversation. Funny, quick, fun fact. Did I know you before this?
No.
Have we ever talked just
today?
And just saying, hey, come on the podcast.
Yeah.
So it was amazing to get to know you in the podcast. It was amazing that your business strategies, right? Because they help people.
Right.
So you could use this business strategies in any industry. So anybody who wants to, not only learn real estate, but learn sales.
Right.
Which is, I think is more valuable than anything if you learn sales. Because if the industry moves to this, you can shift.
Yeah.
If let's say you don't have the experience and the patience and the capital to hold down when any industry shifts,
correct,
you have where to move and where to be successful.
Agreed.
And I think that's what we hit on this podcast today.
We did. It no matter where no matter what the market does, solid basic foundation of sales, you'll thrive in any one of them.
So thank you very much for coming on and hope you guys like the podcast.
Thank you guys. See you guys soon.